Tanjiro Kamado, who we know as Tanjiro, the Sun Breather, the one that is destined to slay Muzan. Muzan being that of the king of all demons. Muzan is where everything stops. But what if in a brand new universe, Tanjiro was raised by one of Muzan's top demons, was raised by the one and only Akaza? That's what we're going to be exploring now in this brand new universe. In the global scale of the multiverse, many things happen for reasons we cannot explain. So, one night when Tanjiro, Nezuko, his mother are all sleeping and all alone, everybody in his family would be killed. But there's one fatal difference that would happen instead of just the normal story. You see, years prior, before Tanjiro was even born, there was a woman. This woman eventually would be the mother of Tanjiro and Nezuko, but she would be this amazing woman, kind no matter what, and she would make everybody around her feel so much better. So, when a demon was lurking about, a demon that was very, very powerful, he would run across this woman, and he would have a soft spot for women. But not only that, he would have a soft spot for Tanjiro's mother. The future mother of Tanjiro would treat him with respect, kindness, even though she had no clue he was truly a demon. Only seeing him in the shadows, not seeing the tattoos that streaked across his face, his arms, and so on, not seeing those demonic eyes that were within the shadows of darkness. Tanjiro's mother would still treat him amazing. So when the present time would come, when she would die to an unknown demon, including the rest of the family, Akaza would arrive just in time to stop the demon from killing that one boy. A boy that has no scar on his face. A boy that is clean-skinned, that is laying there peacefully. The young Tanjiro Kamado. Akaza would even know his name. This small tier, low tier demon that killed his family would implode. And Akaza would murder him in a matter of seconds, grabbing the young boy, scooping him up, and taking him away. But people do say, and demons do say, that Akaza has made a mistake. Muzan knows everything that goes in and out of this area, knows everything that happens before you even choose it to happen. But for some reason, Muzan allowed this to occur. Muzan believed this to be just fine. Young Tanjiro would wake up to see that his mother is gone and he's not in the home he's used to. He would wake up and see nothing around him, only Akaza. Terrifying eyes, tattoos streaking across his body. Tanjiro would look at him, but he wouldn't be scared. For some reason, Tanjiro can sense, smell that this person was not a person, it was a demon, but he didn't know what demons were at the time. But he knew that Akaza was different. He can tell Akaza had no ill will toward Tanjiro. He had no want to kill Tanjiro. Not at all. It seemed friendly, as if there was this warm embrace coming from this stone-cold demon. Akaza would approach him and sit down, cross-legged. The night sky gleaming through this abandoned building window, he would speak with Tanjiro, telling him exactly what's happening and what's going to occur. He tells Tanjiro that his mother has passed. Something got her. Family is gone as well. Just like that, in a blink of an eye. Tanjiro is shocked, crying, distraught. Akaza would tell him, though, that they didn't have to die. They didn't. And he apologizes he couldn't get there sooner. but he wants to be transparent and honest with Tanjiro. He'll allow him to leave if he so chooses to do so. Akaza begins to explain. There's demons all around. More and more will arrive and more will show up. They need to feast on humans to survive. But here's the difference between him and other demons. Akaza explains that not only is he a demon, but he's not anywhere near as brutish as the other ones. He's not the same as the one that killed his family. Tanjiro is taken back. A demon has saved him, brought him here, but another demon killed his family. Tanjiro stands up and says he'll do anything he can to make that demon pay for what he did, but Akaza tells him that there's no reason to do so. That demon's already dead. Akaza is the one that killed him, and Tanjiro is shocked to hear that Akaza killed one of his own kind. Even the young boy that Tanjiro is, he understands more than you could possibly imagine. So he begins to get a little bit more comfortable with Akaza. Akaza would teach him as much as he possibly can, and he would tell Tanjiro that it's not as simple as having a human boy here with him. It's not normal. He tells him that many demons will come after him, and that if he doesn't want to become a demon now, that's fine. Akaza believes that it's not even the right time for him to truly become a demon, at least not right now. He can be stronger if he waits on age. He can be stronger if he waits till he's a little bit older, and then he peaks into demonhood. He says to Tanjiro, though, that he can make this decision later, and this decision won't matter much in the future. It's something that Akaza hopes to open Tanjiro's eyes at, the idea that maybe it's for the best for Tanjiro to become a demon. What Akaza is leaving out is the dangers that Tanjiro will seek if he decides not to become a demon. But he'll leave that out for now. So life would go on for Tanjiro. At a young age, he would begin training, learning martial arts more and more and more. Hand-to-hand combat, the use of his legs, the use of grappling, anything you can think of, anything, well, Akaza can teach him. Not only that, history books will teach him far, far, far more than you could possibly imagine. Same thing with what Akaza has done. Learned martial arts and honed it to like a blade, just like a blade. But Tanjiro is no weapon, at least not yet. He is still a boy, a kid. Being at the age of about 10 to 11 years old, Tanjiro continues to grow more and more and more and more. Eventually, Akaza tells him that the choice of being a demon actually might be trumped just a little bit. They have a bit of an idea. Akaza ran this by Muzan and now is relaying it to Tanjiro. Now, what did he ask Muzan? He brought up the idea of sending a boy undercover to being a demon slayer, someone that has been trained by himself. Muzan almost kills Akaza, infuriated at the fact that he would even harbor a human and bring up this treacherous idea, but Akaza would bring up some points that Muzan could not debate. That this boy was bred to be a demon, maybe even perfect for Muzan in the future to run tests on so that they can conquer the sun. This kid was raised, trained to be a demon, molded to be one. This is the only pathway he's seen. It's not out of desperation. It's out of the only thing he's known. Now this is something Muzan is interested in. Now, if he forms his own becoming of a demon slayer and then he transfers into demonhood, this could be the perfect subject to test if they can truly conquer the sun just years from now. Muzan is shocked and even commends Akaza, telling him that it's a great and very interesting idea. Put it to the test. But if the boy goes off the rails and the boy decides that he wants to be a permanent demon slayer, Akaza will be held accountable. He'll have to kill the boy and then pay for what he's done. Akaza says that the boy will not become a full-fledged demon slayer and will not turn on them. He promises that. Back to Tanjiro, as Tanjiro listens to, let's just say, parts of the conversation, and it would be explained to him that all his training has led up to this moment right now. What they're going to do is send him into being a demon slayer. They'll have no idea. He'll arrive at some unknown location and arrive at this said location where demons cannot really go near, which is because of these beautiful trees that aren't so beautiful for the skins of demons. So Tanjiro will arrive there, learn more and more about whatever's happening in the Demon Slayer Corp, and on top of that, he'll choose exactly the right moment to strike. Tanjiro would head over with an equipment that you wouldn't be used to necessarily. Tanjiro would put on these so-called brass knuckles with an edge just like a sword, as if it's some sort of small dagger. Tanjiro would use these to complement his hand-to-hand combat. On top of that, he would utilize everything else that was told and taught to him by the one and only Akaza. Akaza would commend Tanjiro, telling him and wishing him good luck on his future endeavor here, and to come back as soon as possible with a bit of notice. And also to not worry about slaying demons. If you do slay demons, it doesn't necessarily matter. Some of these demons are just a means to an end. Keep in mind, Muzan has not met this young boy, not face to face. On top of that, he really doesn't know much about Tanjiro, but he takes the word of Akaza, and frankly, there's very little risk to this idea. If Tanjiro goes out and more or less betrays them, who cares? They'll just kill him. Done deal, just like a snap of the fingers. But Tanjiro doesn't think about this at all. He arrives at the Slayer exam, arriving, seeing many people around. He was told by Akaza he'll have to slay demons and most likely survive in some capacity. At least those are the things he's heard over the years he's been alive and been a demon. So when Tanjiro arrives, he's not too surprised. He's not too surprised that he'll have to deal with exactly what's in front of him and have to deal with, well, demons themselves. Two little girls, or seemingly little girls, that are twins, at least in the eyes of Tanjiro, would begin speaking. They begin telling Tanjiro and all the others around exactly what's going to happen and what's going to go down. 1 week in this forest, whoever comes out alive will be a demon slayer. Truly that simple. Tanjiro would enter the forest with many others around, but one person is staring at him. Very oddly, in fact. A young girl by the name of Kanao is staring at him oddly. Tanjiro would look back and smile and wave as he walks into the forest as well. He still has the kind heart he had in the first place, but this version of Tanjiro is not the same. Not even close. He may have the kind heart, but at the same time, he's using it for deception. He's using it for reasons that are going to be unfolded far later. With that said, though, Tanjiro would enter the forest and begin to slay demon after demon. Demons that have no idea he even exists because they've been entrapped in this place for so long. Tanjiro would easily be able to fend for himself, even without a breathing style. It might sound insane, but with training under Akaza, harsh training at that, working hard every single day, he's able to keep up to an extent. On top of that, these brass knuckles, you can call them, these knuckle enhancements that allow his punches to kill and slay, are not regular brass knuckles. They're made of a sword that Akaza took and had dismantled, a sword made of Nichiren. These brass knuckles are made to kill a demon. more like Nichirin knuckles now. Tanjiro would slay demon after demon relatively easily at that, and survive very, very, very simply, well, because of the amazing training that he's already gone through. He's already dealt with, and he's already struggled and clawed and scratched his way through. The 1 week was simple. It was just the deception after that was a little bit more difficult. He would continue to deceive. He would grab the ore that he could smell is the right one, and he would get this weaponry more fine-tuned. Tanjiro would gain his crow, and he would begin trying to slay demons, quote-unquote, given mission and mission, one after another, and frankly, those would continue on. He wouldn't do that much. These lower tier missions would be kind of nothing to him in a way. He's very strong physically, very active, so they wouldn't be that difficult. That's until he gets sent to a city full of lights, a city that never sleeps, and that is the perfect place for a demon like Muzan to hang out. So when he arrives and he finds that demon that he's looking for in this city, chills run down his spine. And Muzan, for some reason, knows exactly who this is. He puts a hand on the shoulder of Tanjiro as if he's welcoming him in a way. Muzan asks if he's the colleague the colleague's son that he's been hearing about so much. Tanjiro nods and says that he apologizes for the inconvenience. He doesn't mean to, intrude. He just looked familiar, so he wanted to say his hellos and introduce himself. Of course, that would go over pretty smoothly, not alarming the child and the woman that is currently with Muzan himself. Tanjiro would back away and eventually leave, but Muzan wouldn't even think or even bat an eye at it. But the crow that is with Tanjiro would already be signaling to the Hashira and the Demon Slayer Corp of what the occurrence was. Of course, this occurrence wouldn't be exactly what the Hashira would expect. The expectation would be a dead Demon Slayer. Of course. I mean, every expectation should be a dead Demon Slayer when Muzan is involved. But this is odd. Tanjiro is not dead. He is well and alive. What happened? How? How did he survive? Well, Tanjiro acts as if he doesn't know either, and the crow lacks sufficient information about exactly what happened. In the eyes of the crow, Tanjiro just talked his way out of it, somehow was able to avoid a conflict with Muzan, and that's a win in their books. They feel, he was face to face with the king of every single demon out there. On top of that, the Hashira would want to speak with Tanjiro stat immediately, as quick as possible. So yes, there are missions he could go on right now as they speak, some that may be far difficult or far more difficult at this moment, but luckily he doesn't have to go on them, at least right now. They know Tanjiro's limitations, at least to a certain extent. They know he can't use any breathing style. According to him, he's never been taught any. Self-made Demon Slayer. So that trip to the Hashira mansion that the crow insists on him taking will be an interesting one. He arrives at that said Hashira mansion and he sees all of them. Kind of just normal people. But the aura around them is terrifying in a way. So powerful. Tanjiro is introduced to the master of all the Demon Slayers, speaking with everybody and anybody he possibly has to. And of course, the idea and the fact that he doesn't actually know how to use any breathing styles comes up. Tanjiro says that he's more of a brawler. He likes fighting with his hands, legs, and so on, in which the Hashira believe that it is a little bit more brutish than what they would like, but one of them would stand up, a fiery aura around him with hair to match it, Rengoku. He would stand up and begin speaking to the young boy, telling him that whatever style he takes on, whatever he wants to take on, he needs to be able to learn a breathing style, even if it becomes a creation of oneself. He'll teach him how to use flame breathing. Everyone is extremely taken back by this. I mean, of course, Rengoku's nice. He's a sweetheart. He'll offer help to anybody he possibly can, but why so random? Why would he just want to help this kid out of nowhere? They don't even know who he is, what kind of demon slayer he truly is, and so on and so forth. They just met this kid, but Rengoku doesn't care. Even the master of all demon slayers and that runs the whole demon slayer corp is mildly confused. Yes, Rengoku is an amazing person. That's apparent. That's been apparent for a long time. But why would he just choose to help this boy? Make him stronger. Maybe it's in hopes that there's an omen of him being the one to see Muzan first. Maybe. Maybe, just maybe. But they're not so sure. They really don't know. But nonetheless, do you think Tanjiro would turn this down? Of course not. He's raised by the one and only Akaza, someone that is built and wants to get stronger, and that's the mindset. So it wouldn't be anywhere too far-fetched from the idea of Tanjiro deciding to train with one of the Hashira. Going undercover is something that he was potentially and progressively getting to the point what he was going to do. But on top of that, let's just say there's some demons that are currently watching the location of where Tanjiro's currently at. This right here is just kind of scouting out the area. Confirmation of the Hashira mansion, and more information is wanted and needed from the demons. The demons, well, more importantly, the higher tier ones, being that of Muzan, Kokoshibo, Douma, Akaza, all of the demons that are very high tier are watching closely exactly where Tanjiro goes, comes from, and approaches at all times. Tanjiro is kind of like, well, their little spy. Now, with that said, Tanjiro would take on the chance of training, learning flame breathing, and he does just that. It's a hard and arduous process, but let's just say he'll begin to blossom more than he could possibly imagine. But the only issue is he's struggling extremely hard, not because he can't get a grip on flame breathing, it's because what he has and what he has deep down inside is far more potent. Sun breathing. He didn't know this, but he could utilize the breath of the sun. Learning how to utilize sun breathing is far more difficult. He utilizes the knowledge he gains from flame breathing as a way of stoking the fire of the sun, the fire of sun breathing itself. So he utilizes ideas that he knows from flame breathing to actually utilize sun breathing. Definitely a high IQ reasoning and play from Tanjiro. But still, there are limitations. There are very little things that he knows for sure. Rengoku would guide him down this path. Any path that would allow for help, for Tanjiro to exceed more and more. And that's exactly what happens. Tanjiro is a force to be reckoned with. Someone that has the utilization of sun breathing, but he was able to envelop it in the style of fighting he wants, hand-to-hand combat. On top of that, they begin building weaponry for him, far different than the swords that they would normally make. Different versions of his knuckle bracers, and even weaponry that would go on his feet, something he can utilize in a fight against a demon as well, all made from the Nichiren blade. something that he'll utilize against demons. But the Hashira Mansion has been an experience. Definitely something to think about. Tanjiro has met people so pure of heart that the ideals that he's heard about, the ideals of living forever, the ideals that Akaza has instilled in him become cloudy by the day. The ideas that becoming a demon is the way to live forever and ever and to be kind of pure, to be perfect. Tanjiro begins to maybe even question these things. Should he really become a demon? Is it really a choice? Akaza has raised him from a child. Akaza has raised him when, well, he was a baby or he was a young kid. Tanjiro died, or Tanjiro's family died. Tanjiro owes that to Akaza. Tanjiro was saved by Akaza. At least that's what he's heard. Is that true? Is that real? Has Akaza been lying? Maybe. Or maybe not. Maybe Akaza has been completely true to everything he said. Completely true to every word he's spoken. Is it truly all a lie? Is everything Akaza has said a lie? Or maybe the Demon Slayers are a little bit less than what he could believe. Maybe the Demon Slayers aren't what they truly say they are. They may protect people, but Tanjiro has met Demon Slayer after Demon Slayer incapable. Maybe if there were more capable Demon Slayers, his family wouldn't have died. Maybe he wouldn't have had to be saved by a demon. Wow, that's something he'll have to think about as well. His loyalty lays, at least right now, with the Demon Slayers. But in his eyes, his loyalty still lays with Akaza. But what is true? What is real? Mission after mission of being a Demon Slayer, learning more and more, gaining strength, being bred as the perfect demon. At least that's what it feels like, to get stronger. Akaza has instilled that in his brain to get stronger, to do more, to become more powerful at all costs. Eventually leading to more experiences at the Hashira Mansion, Tanjiro continues to be trained, molded into a great Demon Slayer. But on top of that, he's getting bred to be the ultimate demon. Yeah, that's a lot to think about. Yes, of course. But with his Demon Slayer missions and with the responsibilities he has right now, he doesn't think too much about it at this moment. Tanjiro continues to do mission after mission, and eventually he goes on a mission with the one and only Rengoku. He's seen the Hashira in action at a forest, or at least heard of what happened. He was too busy training with Rengoku from scratch, learning about how to use flame breathing, or what he knows now as sun breathing. Now, he'll be going on a mission with Rengoku himself, the Mugen Train. Now that is the next stop. The next stop is a train that is being controlled by demons. Now what does this mean for Tanjiro? Well, you'll have to find out when Tanjiro is forced to make the ultimate choice. Tanjiro Kamado. He's on a mission now. Demon Slayers. Demon Slayers are the ones who are built to protect people. Protect humans just like himself. But on the way to that Mugen Train, he thinks about all the Demon Slayers that didn't help. that did not help him, his family, or anybody. He's with these two other people that are demon slayers as well. He doesn't know them very well, but he helped train them during a pastime. Before the Mugen Train, more or less mission, he helped train Inosuke and Zenitsu. He's not really friends with them, not necessarily. He kind of keeps people at an arm's reach. He doesn't like letting people get close, at least not right now. Still though, he did help them a good bit, but Kanao and Aoi did most of that job. Tanjiro also did his own training, but that was more with Rengoku than anything else. Rengoku has definitely helped Tanjiro a good bit, helped him a lot, been kind of a father figure in a way, at least to an extent. But this is a mission, something serious, so he knows when he arrives at that said mission, some precautions will have to be taken. Tanjiro, Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Rengoku would arrive at that said mission. They would imply different tactics. Tanjiro would be grouped up with Zenitsu and Inosuke, as Rengoku would take other aspects that he wanted to do to scout this so-called train. But when it came down to the nitty-gritty, well, they would all arrive on the train together, and they would begin to wait for the action of said demons. Rengoku would sit there as he enjoys food. Every last bite, he would enjoy every single little bit of that said food, and that was just part of his culture. That's what he was taught. Enjoy every meal, just like it would be your last. Rengoku would eat as the lights would begin to flicker, and the mood would change very, very quickly. These demons would appear, but just as they would appear, Rengoku would destroy them, kill them almost instantaneously. Tanjiro would watch on and would wonder maybe if Rengoku was there, his family would still be alive. He would look at Rengoku as Rengoku smiling still in the face of all danger, smiling in the face of everything. Tanjiro thinks to himself that maybe if he was strong, he would have been able to defend his family as well. Yes, he was just a little kid, a child. But if he could go back in time, he would save them. He's strong too, just like Rengoku. Tanjiro, though, would shake this off, this feeling, and eventually this would lead to a bit of a predicament. They would all sit back waiting for their next move, but unbeknownst to them, they were already in a trap. Tanjiro would fall asleep and would wake up. Family all around him. Family all alive. Was all this just a dream? Was all this just... No. What was this? What's going on? Tanjiro is confused. But then, out of nowhere, a demon would appear in front of Tanjiro, apologizing. Tanjiro's confused. That must be the demon they're after. It's Enmu. Enmu apologizes and didn't know that they would cross paths like this. He releases Tanjiro from his sleep and tells him to leave now, or, well, he'll have to continue on with his plan while endangering him, in which Tanjiro is confused by. But Enmu makes it clear that the orders are straight from Muzan. Muzan has told him not to touch the boy that is being basically bred to become a demon, and that's Tanjiro, to not mess with Tanjiro. Tanjiro breaks free of this so-called sleep with the help of this so-called demon, this other demon that is currently on this train, but he feels odd about it. He can't just leave. If he does, then his whole cover is just blown. It doesn't make sense. So he decides to take it upon himself to do a bit of housekeeping, you could say. Something he'll have to do eventually anyways. He busts out the window and begins to confront Enmu face to face. Their fight is relatively similar, if not leans heavily in the favor of Tanjiro in this version. Tanjiro's just martial arts alone and pace would allow him to keep up with Enmu very, very easily. He would take down this demon, but quickly realize that Enmu is actually the entirety of the train. Now that is an issue Tanjiro wasn't ready for necessarily. But still, once the awakening of Inosuke and Zenitsu and also Rengoku would finally happen, it would make things far, far simpler. A 1 versus 1 with Tanjiro versus Enmu, using more or less anything in his way, and also his senses that he currently has on top of the reaction speed he's gained from training with Akaza and Rengoku himself. He's able to keep up with the in and outs of what's going on in terms of putting him back to sleep or not. Tanjiro's easily able to more or less counter Enmu, but chopping off the neck in the basically the captain's quarters or the driver's seat is going to be the most difficult thing. The engine is practically his neck, but Tanjiro doesn't necessarily have a weapon that suits doing something like that. So with the help of Inosuke and Inosuke's blades, they're able to actually saw through while Tanjiro gives him an opening to destroy the neck of Enmu, killing that said demon. Actually, one of the stronger demons that are in the army of Muzan. What Tanjiro doesn't know is that there was a bit of a redoing and a rehaul after Rui died in a forest that, Tanjiro wasn't actually part of at all. Tanjiro had no idea, but Enmu was the last of the lower demons in the 12 Kizuki, and Tanjiro getting rid of him would actually set him up a lot better in the future if he decided to become a demon, if those ideals were still in vision for him. So when all this is said and done and everything is put forth, Tanjiro seems to be happy. Rengoku is safe, Zenitsu is safe, everyone around him is safe at this moment until they step out the train. The train demon, that demon wasn't the only thing that was waiting. What is waiting in the shadows is something far, far more scary, far, far more dangerous. And he would come out just as Rengoku is telling everybody to get everything cleaned up. He would introduce himself as Akaza, an upper 3 demon, one of the strongest in Muzan's 12 Kizuki, one of the strongest of all demons on the planet. Akaza would stand face to face with Rengoku, a daunting task that Rengoku, he feels that he has to take on alone, telling them all to stay calm, telling them all to worry about the people inside the trains first. Akaza would look over to Tanjiro and would wonder what he's doing. Why has he not made a move yet? Just as he begins thinking this, Akaza was about to speak a word, but Tanjiro would begin walking toward Rengoku, walking quicker and eventually until he was behind Rengoku. Rengoku would tell Tanjiro to stay over there, that it's not safe, that this fight is not for him, not yet. He's not strong enough yet. Tanjiro would then stand beside Rengoku, and Akaza's face would drop in disappointment. Akaza's face would be disappointed. It seems that the child he raised is now standing against him. It seems as if the person that he trained and made stronger is now standing against the demons. The one that they were going to make a demon, the the one that they were going to make the perfect demon, is now betraying them. Akaza about to speak a word to both Rengoku and Tanjiro, about to tell him that a mistake like this is brutal in the line of sight that he truly is in, but Tanjiro would not be making a mistake, because then he would take his right hand, right fist, clenching as hard as possible, bearing the pain of the metal and the Nichirin on his knuckles as he pushes his hand through Rengoku's back, slicing into it swiftly, and like a sharp bullet sends his hand straight through Rengoku, right through his chest, into his heart, and Rengoku would cough up blood, looking to the left as he looks at Tanjiro in complete and utter shock. Tanjiro would be looking at Rengoku with a stoic look, as if this was all a means to an end. He may be good-hearted, but his allegiance is to Akaza. And when he saw Akaza one last time, he knew what his decision was. His decision was the person or the demon that saved him. That may have been too late to save his family, but he wasn't going to choose the side of a demon slayer who didn't save his family, who didn't take him when he was younger, who didn't do anything. Tanjiro would kick Rengoku to the ground as he would begin to bleed out. Rengoku would slowly fade, and Tanjiro would apologize to Akaza for not allowing him to get in a fight, because he would have loved to fight Rengoku. Akaza smirks and says that the fight between them two, when Tanjiro becomes a demon, will be even greater than anyone a demon slayer could put up. Tanjiro would turn slowly toward Inosuke and Zenitsu, and they would be in complete and utter shock. Not knowing what to say and not knowing what to do, crows would begin to chirp all around. Birds and whatever crow/bird from Zenitsu to Inosuke would begin traveling as they begin to say one word: traitor, traitor, traitor. Tanjiro has now switched sides and is now on the side of the demons. And it's blatantly obvious that Tanjiro must have been more or less setting up this ploy for a long time. How they didn't realize it and how did they not know? Well, it's hard to know. When a boy is raised in such a way, raised with such kindness, but at the same time with such brutality, with such patience through martial arts, and also the man who trained him knew exactly this day would come. Well, it's hard to tell, but they fell right into the trap, fell right into the paws of the demons, into the claws of every last demon. Inosuke and Zenitsu would stand there ready for a fight, but they would know that they need to run fast. If Rengoku basically had to take on this monster of a demon by himself to stand a chance, then what kind of chance do they have? They can't even beat Tanjiro in sparring. What does that mean for their chances of survival now? Tanjiro would look at Inosuke and Zenitsu, but walk away toward Akaza. He would walk over toward Akaza as Akaza would put his hand on Tanjiro's shoulder, telling him that it's now time. A scratch would be made on the neck of Tanjiro as the blood of Akaza would be injected into Tanjiro's skin. The feeling of a boil begins to hover over Tanjiro as more and more blood is injected within. More and more, slowly but surely. Zenitsu and Inosuke would stand there in complete shock. How? This is impossible. What is their course of action? What are they supposed to do? Run? Hide? No, they can't hide. When will the sun come out? No, not long enough. They don't know. They have no clue. No clue at all. Tanjiro is now turning into a demon. Their best hope, well, is that Tanjiro dies from this whole interaction. But he won't. Tanjiro is the perfect demon. Far more perfect than they could possibly even imagine. Akaza has now bred and created a demon that would change everything forever. Because Inosuke and Zenitsu would stand there and charge toward Tanjiro. Tanjiro would put out his hand as his eyes would begin to change in this dark red, veiny color, with his pupils changing way more vertical than you'd possibly imagine. Flame-like tattoos begin to explore across his head, begin to implore and indent his head more, veins popping out from beneath his hair, and Tanjiro's smirk would become sharp, terrifying. Zenitsu and Inosuke would swing toward Tanjiro's head in hopes that they can kill him, that he will die. One chop, two chops, and Tanjiro's head is off. Akaza is in shock for a split second, but then out of nowhere, a realization by Akaza is made. A realization that chopping Tanjiro's head off isn't going to kill him. He's shocked, in a way terrified. How the hell? Akaza is proud, but at the same time freakishly terrified of how capable Tanjiro obviously is. How capable the boy he raised really truly is. Tanjiro grows back his head, just like Muzan. Then, far, far away, at the Hashira mansion, the crows not only are chirping and singing and clamoring at the idea that Tanjiro is a traitor, but also saying that the demon slayers, well, both Inosuke, Zenitsu, have died. And on top of that, a Hashira, Kyojuro Rengoku, has died in battle as well. The traitor has killed all three of them, and Tanjiro Kamado has now became a demon. Everybody is shocked. Chills run down their spines. He knows so much. But what the demon slayers don't know is that it's even worse than they could possibly imagine. How quickly the domino effect would fall in the favor of every single demon out there. Demon slayers would begin to get cut down one by one. The quality of the demon slayer corp will definitely be put into perspective. Demon after demon, kill after kill, and strength began to grow for every last demon there. Akaza would watch as Tanjiro would begin to gain strength that seemed to be unimaginable. Something that nobody would even believe to exist. Tanjiro would be gaining power that nobody would even understand. Yeah, that's until a realization would go over Tanjiro. Tanjiro was special. Not only was he able to use the breath of the sun or sun breathing, he was able to survive getting his head cut off by an Ichirin blade. So does that mean even more than he could possibly imagine? One day, yes, day, in the daytime, sun out, Tanjiro would begin to walk outside. His skin would glisten and begin to burn. But then it would stop entirely, and his skin would regenerate. Tanjiro was truly immortal. And on top of that, he was in a position of complete and utter domination. What he wanted was unclear. So it all came down to what Akaza wanted. What did Akaza truly want? The death of Muzan didn't mean the death of every last demon, as long as there was another king to replace him. Tanjiro, stoic, would ask Akaza what kind of leadership and what kind of king did he truly want in power? What kind of demons did he truly want to see on their side? Akaza would be fearful at this question. What is Tanjiro even thinking? What kind of crazy idea does he have? He would show Akaza that crazy is not even the word for it. In the bright daylight, he would walk outside and Akaza would scream for him to tell him to stop. But Tanjiro was fine. Akaza was in shock, but a smirk would grow over Akaza's face as he would understand exactly what Tanjiro was speaking of, exactly what he was thinking. Kokushibo, Muzan, Douma, and every last demon, any demon that ever mocked Akaza, any demon that didn't follow the path that they should have, will now be under their control. And quicker than you can possibly imagine, the throne would be swiped away from Muzan's legs, and the death of Muzan would be imminent, and the new king would rise. Demon King Tanjiro would stand at the helm, and the death of every last demon slayer would follow suit. True immortality would follow suit, and Tanjiro and every last demon beneath him would walk and roam Earth for the rest of time. And that is a wrap for What If Tanjiro Was Raised by Akaza. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. And I hope all of y'all enjoyed. Like I said, I hope all of y'all have an amazing day. Later.